guys, with this one right here, you got Disagree, Lucii, and R. But you got NR with the Lucii and him coming with his whole, it's another thing coming into it. Disagree, you got the Disagree coming into it, especially with this one hole right here, and this whole whole thing coming into it. And you got this one right here, especially with Lucii, because you got one of the most sketchiest ones, coming into it, especially with everything else, and just this one coming into it, and him having this whole other, just another balance to it. And then you got the main stuff going into it, like you got the main charismatic stuff coming into it, especially with his whole thing and his whole rotate and how he just reflects off another thing. But you got the main one coming into it, especially with his whole thing and him having his whole, another, situation and all this other stuff. But, you got the main one coming into it, especially with the most gracious one, like just gracious and all those other, Mr. Ashes.
K done a muzzle on this one.
Lucii mixes, baby.
Step out, glide, I'm looking to home. Grip it, ride, like why did the pagans hide? Like come here, don't run, tryna itch this shook inside. Why did the old boys lie? They talk online and drop them. Step out, glide, I'm looking to home. Grip it, ride, like why did the pagans hide? Like come here, don't run, tryna itch this shook inside. Why did the old boys lie? They talk online.
Lucii mixes, baby.
Step out, glide, I'm looking to home. Grip it, ride, like why did the pagans hide? Like come here, don't run, tryna itch this shook inside. Why did Step out, glide, I'm looking to home. Grip it, ride, like why did the
He said grip it, ride, and he said when he steps out, it's a gliding scene. Like he said with the gliding scene, like hey, he said, hold it, whip it, and the whole, gliding, sliding, like he coming with a whole, information, like it's just more to it, and and then you got his whole situation, like the whole situation. It's like he just got the whole just endless coming into it. Like he said, when it's a step out season, it's a step out, gliding season. So it's like, you got those two villainaries. Like you got one side of this part and the next side. But, he said the wipe out and the glides and the most slimest and the most grippiest.
pagans hide? Like come here, don't run, tryna itch this shook inside. Why did the old boys lie? They talk online and drop them. Step out, glide, I'm looking to home. Grip it, ride, like why did the pagans hide? Like come here, don't run, tryna itch this shook inside. Why did the old boys lie? They talk online and drop them. Anytime I step on, rider for free, I got bros, bro, rider for me. Clap back on the whack, got my hand jelly, vibrating my bones and slapping that teeth.
Ooh, he said the whole thing, how he jump out the ride, glap out on a tee, hit it with a tee, and then he said, his hands are just like a jelly, like just the whole thing, like hey, like so it's slippery, it just slippery, and it just slips out and it just goes, and how it just glows, like you can't even stop the little slip on goes and thing. But he said, with the whole thing and how it just comes from a different side to another, ambitiaries and different squeeze rules.
When I rap man speak on facts, I'll be up in the booth on G's and a T. G, free all my killies, their hotel living, they'll soon be shining with me. On G, on slack, no cap, I'm rapping for peas, I don't want no clout. I just wanna bake with my little ting for my head down, bait it's jarring. I'm down in the booth or I'm on the block, either way I got a man I'm surrounding. Try run up on me, that's a dumb mistake, I'll make a man leak like Teasy's drowning. They say Lucii's tapped in the head, I don't disagree. I had a on my leg got young way before I knew the birds and bees. Swung my shook, cut a pagan, did it live while I was deep in the beef. I used to grip roll, goes into my school gate. I didn't like get touched by neeks. I was age 13. No one can say that they touched me, only mosquitoes see me bleed. Nowadays if I see one of them, it ain't a road boy, some 9 teeth. If I do get caught on a lack, I'll Consider they touch me, only mosquitoes see me bleed. Nowadays if I see one of them, it ain't a rope door, it's some 9 teeth. If I do get caught on a lack, I've said it before, just give it a week. My young boo's finna put man deep. Step out, glide, I'm looking to harm you. Grip it, ride, like why did the pagans hide? Like come here, don't run, tryna itch the fuck inside. Why did the old boys lie, they talk online then drop them.
Lucii mixes, baby.
Oh, that was skeezy right there. He said, only mosquitoes bleed. Like, hey, he said with the whole thing, and he said, and the whole other side, like how he was putting two, victories, he was putting the whole thing to it, a whole sentence to it. Like he said, only mosquitoes, seem to bleed. How they put the whole thing, like he made it just, everything was another side of it. Like it had another story to it, another and picture to it. Like it's not even the right, degree. Like you can actually degree on it. So it's like, hey, mosquitoes bleed, and the whole other thing, like it's just another Maybach, on another side of it. But you got the main ones. Like this was giving me a little, census, how it was going and how it was just, invictuating and touching. Like this one was a exclamable one right here. But everything else you got with Lucii and R. Shout out to Pac-Man TV, because they put their whole thing on it, and they got a whole spurs to it, and with this whole thing. But most definitely check it out for you guys self, like, comment, and with this whole like skirmish.